We're live.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us again. This is the 10K Project. My name is Tawana Rivers. And guess what we're doing again this evening? Loving on some more Black founders, right? That's what we do here. And I'm so excited to introduce tonight's founders. These two amazing ladies are doing their second round from a crowdfunding standpoint. And when they raised the first time, we missed out. We connected right as they were ending. And so I asked them, I was like, if you raise again, please reach out and call us. And that is exactly what has happened. So we are here now. And I believe that there is nothing like a mistake, right? Things happen for a reason. Now is the time that we were all supposed to be together and push this campaign forward to the next phase of its success. And so for all of you who are joining and watching and will see the replay, it is not a mistake that this one is coming across your timeline. So please stop for a moment and pay attention. I want to go ahead and share the campaign. This campaign is on WeFunder. I won't spend a lot of time here because we go to WeFunder often. And I know for those of you who are regulars, you can navigate WeFunder. Let me go to WeFunder. There we go. Why is that the Zoom page? Can you guys see the WeFunder page now?
I don't see it.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Mm-hmm. On my side, it looks like WeFunder. Is that it?
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So here is the WeFunder campaign. And this campaign is at the early stage, right? And so once the ladies meet their $50,000 goal, WeFunder will open the campaign up to the masses. And so we have a very important role tonight is to help them get to that goal so that everyone can see the campaign. The minimum is $100. The valuation is 2.5. And I always tell you guys, right, to look at the entire campaign page when you are doing your due diligence. So you want to look at the overview information, all of the highlight information, information about the team, any media that has been added. You want to look at the updates. You want to hear what people are saying. The point, what I think is one of the best parts of the campaign pages is the regulations do require that potential investors are able to ask questions right here on the platform. And so obviously you're going to be able to ask questions here tonight with us, but you may think of something later on this evening. You may think of something tomorrow. This is where you want to post that question so that the ladies can respond or their team can respond to you. I love this section. I've said this a million times. I love this section because it is in this section where I learn things that I didn't think to ask that are wonderful questions when you're thinking about investing. Because other people who have more experience or more knowledge, they're asking their questions here. And when you see their answers, sometimes that's the thing to make you say, I didn't think about that. That's wonderful. I'm absolutely going to invest, right? Or it triggers a follow-up question for you to ask. So please pay attention to all of the components of the campaign page. All right. With that said, I am going to turn it over to Pamela and Diane to introduce themselves to you, and Dana to introduce themselves to you, and then to tell us all about Coils to Locs.
I want to thank you. And I do want to thank everybody for being on this call. I know we're on the East Coast. I noticed some of you were, on the East Coast, West Coast, and in between. And the fact that you're taking the time this evening to just, listen to our story, our journey, we really appreciate it. I'm Diane Austin. I am the co-founder of Coils to Locs. I'm also the CEO. And I'll turn it over to Pamela to introduce herself. And I'm not sure if Dana's going to introduce himself or just get on the back end with the questions, but Dana is our business strategist who is amazing. And I do want to say, if there are any entrepreneurs on this call, you want to get his information. So Dana, put that in the
Nice
chat.
plug.
He's an amazing
And that
business.
means Dana better introduce himself then.
I
He's going to have to
know.
introduce himself. That's right. So I'll try to
Yeah,
put a
he's
pin
definitely going to get on during the Q&A for sure.
on
But since I'm talking, I'll introduce myself. I'm Pamela Shattuck. Diane and I are sisters and co-founders, and I am the COO of Coils to Locs.
Dana, do you want to introduce yourself or save that at the end? You could do that as well.
We put him on the
We're
spot.
gonna, yeah, we put him on the spot. So, well, let's get started. I do want to also be respectful of all of your time. So, this is a picture of rows of beautiful wigs, but what you really aren't seeing in this picture is something that represents a systemic issue in the wigs for medical hair loss space. And my co-founder Pamela and I, we're going to be taking you on a journey. And the journey is one where you'll learn about how Coils to Locs is disrupting a disparity in medical hair loss spaces through our line of highly textured premium fiber wigs. You might be surprised to know that hair loss is a fact of life for actually about 50%, a little more than 50% of Black women just in the US alone. And oftentimes that hair loss is medical related. So that equates to about 12 million women, again, just in the US alone. And when it comes specifically to chemotherapy hair loss, which I'm touching on because of my journey, women, Black women in particular, are going to lose their hair due to chemotherapy at the rate of about 52,000 Black women a year, because unfortunately, we're getting cancer um, at higher rates, particularly breast cancer. Now, hair loss for medical reasons can be the result of chronic illnesses as well, such as like lupus or, COVID causes hair loss, bariatric surgery. Individuals who go through that process experience hair loss. There are medications, unfortunately, such as some high blood pressure medications and other types of medications that causes medical hair loss. And that's just medical hair loss. Um, there's non-medical hair loss as well due to protective styles that might be putting pressure on the roots of our hair. So this is why our numbers are so high, unfortunately. But as I mentioned, this is a journey that I personally started walking back in 2015. I'm doing really well now, but I was diagnosed with breast cancer and I learned that I would be getting chemotherapy and that I would lose all of my tightly coiled, I like to say, kinky hair. And I remember just being really desperate in terms of wanting to find a wig. I never wore wigs before, but I wanted to really fly under the radar as a hair loss patient, as a cancer patient. I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I thought that I'd be able to continue to work. So I didn't want to go to work one day with my hair looking like this and then going to work with this style that just was maybe so far different than what people were used to seeing me wear. Um, I just wanted to maintain my dignity. And so I learned through this process, through my oncology team, that there was this whole industry around medical hair loss where hospital spaces and medical hair loss spaces supported women going through hair loss through wigs that could be purchased. But I soon found that these hospital spaces and these healthcare spaces that were set up to support health and well-being for women with medical hair loss were only selling straight-haired wigs. And as I think I mentioned earlier, I'm from the Boston area, and I honestly thought at first this is a Boston problem. I'm sure I can find these wigs in medical hair loss spaces in other places. We have wonderful hospitals here. I went to all of the hospitals, many of which provided medical hair loss support, and they were only selling straight haired wigs. I also learned during that journey that even though you don't need health insurance to get a wig in these medical spaces, you can pay out of pocket. Many health insurance plans, particularly the private plans, covered the cost of health insurance. And my health insurance covered the cost of wigs for up to $350. They call it a hair prosthesis. That's the medical term for a wig for medical hair loss. But I wasn't able to take advantage of my health insurance because I could not find a wig that looked anything like my hair. There were only straight haired wigs. And I wasn't interested in wearing a straight haired wig because I had stopped straightening my hair about 3 years before the diagnosis. And again, I just didn't want to draw attention to myself. And, this is a disparity that just creates yet this layer of inequity in medical hair loss spaces. And I was very frustrated by that and decided I want to solve for that problem. I spoke to my sister, Pamela, and I said, I want to start a business because we did research around the country while I was still doing chemo. I was just so curious about this. Um, And we called hospitals and medical hair loss salons in major cities across this country. And each and every hospital that we called, medical hair loss salon that we called, and I would say, Pamela, that might have been about 20-ish, maybe a little more of the major hospitals, they all told us that they do not sell these highly textured wigs, that they only sold straight haired wigs. And so we wanted to solve for that problem. And so we started Coils to Locs. And we sell wholesale and through e-commerce a line of premium fiber, highly textured wigs that look and feel like real hair. We are disrupting medical hair loss spaces and serving the needs of Black women and other women with highly textured hair who want to find a wig that resonates with them, that looks like the hair that they lost. And something as simple as a wig, as simple as a wig, I'm sorry, I sigh a little bit because I just remember thinking, all I want is a wig. I don't understand why I can't find these wigs in medical hair loss spaces because as we know, um, I know on this call that outside of medical hair loss spaces, it's not hard to find these wigs. But these wigs are like trying to find these wigs in medical hair loss spaces is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. And I wanted to maintain my sense of dignity, my sense of self. So this is, we started the business in 2019. We've been bootstrapping this business, which has been a blessing and a curse. The blessing being that, you're able to, when you're bootstrapping and you're not relying on, investor money, that's the time to make your mistakes. That's the time to figure things out. The curse being that it's been harder for us to scale as a business in this multi-billion-dollar business because we're bootstrapping. So we are looking for ways to raise funds. But this is a patient who has bought several of our wigs over the last few years. Actually, she's no longer a patient. She shared with us that, she's doing well, but one of the things that I learned through my journey and through talking to other women who've had similar experiences is they often tell you, particularly, I can only speak for chemotherapy hair loss, that your hair is going to grow back. And I learned that that is not always the case. This is my hair that you see um, currently, but I have bald spots where my hair did not grow back. I know women who are going through, um, who have gone through chemotherapy who weren't as fortunate as me and have even less hair than I do, where they have to wear wigs because, and if that's what they choose, of course, because it's been so difficult. So I do want to just say that, it's important to note that wigs are not a vanity product, especially when it comes to hair loss. And according to the NIH National Library of Medicine, for Black women, and this is part of a study, Black women shared that one, hair plays an important role in terms of our identity and our sense of self, and that this makes losing our hair due to medical conditions or non-medical conditions, especially traumatic, and that Black women in particular have experienced psychological distress from hair loss. I mean, who wouldn't? I remember feeling um, just so stressed out about the fact that not only do I have cancer, but I'm bald as well. Like what, I don't know what I did in another life, but it was just very stressful, is what I'm putting out. And there are research studies and that highlight this. So the inability to find wigs that look like one's hair texture that or look like something that one can relate to adds another level of emotional distress on top of clinical trauma or health trauma. So we also get feedback from hospitals. We're in 27 hospitals currently across the country are wigs, but we're only scratching the surface. Again, because we're bootstrapping, we haven't been able to scale. There are thousands of hospitals and medical hair loss salons that we can be in, and that we want to make an impact in. Our hospital partners continue to tell us that um, their patients appreciate having choice. It means a lot to them, and it means a lot to our hospital partners as well. So I want to address what I'm going to call the elephant in the room, or breaking news that you may have heard about, and that is a couple of months ago, Consumer Reports did some research, and it was published, I believe, in March of this year, specifically on synthetic braiding hair and the concern about the outcome of that research carried over into the synthetic wig space. And the research that they did shared that 100% of the braiding hair that they tested, and they tested, I think it was about 10 different brands, tested positive for toxic chemicals, including cancer-causing chemicals. But there's some good news here, because this same study also highlighted that braiding hair made from premium fibers such as kanekalon, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Some people say kinkalon, but I believe it's kanekalon, which is a Japanese fiber, is a safer option. And it's wigs that are made from PVC fibers that are the concern. And I bring this up because, yes, the study was based on synthetic braiding hair, but by extension, as I mentioned earlier, we carry premium fiber synthetic wigs. We chose synthetic wigs because hospitals prefer synthetic wigs, even though we sell our wigs outside of the hospital setting as well, both to those who are experiencing hair loss or who are not, through our e-commerce site, or who are experiencing other forms of hair loss. And so we wanted to just put on the table that the Consumer Reports study did highlight that there are premium fiber wigs, and what types of synthetic wigs you should be avoiding and what you should be looking for. Our wigs are made of a premium fiber similar to kanekalon, which is a Japanese fiber. Ours is a Japanese fiber, a proprietary fiber. It looks and feels like human hair. I don't know, I can go back to the picture of the woman who was wearing the wig. Um, the wigs look very natural. They're not shiny or plastic looking. These are some of the things that the study indicated that women should be looking out for when purchasing a wig. Our wigs don't have a chemical smell. And I think what is important for everyone on this call to know as well is we have spoken to our manufacturer who has ensured us that our wigs are safe. They use a third-party certification process to verify the safety of the wigs that they produce. So there are synthetic wigs that do not, and braiding hair out there, that don't fall into the toxic cancer-causing category. So I think as just consumers in general, whether it's synthetic wigs or any products these days, just being a discerning, I'm sorry, consumer, and understanding what you're buying is important. And I also want to say, even prior to this study, we've been exploring and will continue to explore working with manufacturers who are innovating in the synthetic wig fiber space through the use of organic braiding hair, for example, or organic wig hair. There are more manufacturers that are moving in that direction, and we're trying to figure out where to find them. We're going through a couple of trade shows this year to explore that. So the time is now for this type of business. We are addressing a unique need in an untapped market in medical hair loss spaces in a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I think based on just what we've learned over time and lived experience, we're in a great position to do so. Here is an extension of our cultural identity. We as women wear wigs to not just camouflage hair loss, but to express our style and our personality. And by focusing on these wigs in medical hair loss spaces where they don't exist, we are addressing an overlooked market that data has shown is asking for these wigs, demanding these wigs. The figures speak for themselves. The wig and hair extension industry in the US alone is over a $2 billion industry. Globally, it's over $6 billion, and it's actually Black women who are driving those sales numbers based on the data. So it's our business goal to demonstrate that addressing health disparities can drive both social impact and actually financial returns. And so I do want to quickly, before passing this on to Pamela, just highlight our market strategy, go-to-market strategy. We're a B2B, so we sell wholesale to organizations like hospitals and cancer resource groups and medical hair loss salons. And we also sell via our e-commerce site a different line of wigs than what we sell in terms of wig styles to the public. And we were exploring ways to contract with the federal government, and we're in heavy conversations with entities in Canada. All unfortunately have been put on hold given our current political climate, but we hope to pick up those conversations at some point. Pamela, I'm going to pass the baton on to you.
Okay, I was going to talk a little too about the market strategy. Thank you, Diane. Thank you for your part of the presentation. For those who came on late, I am Locs co-founder and Diane's sister. But yeah, just in terms of some more, I guess, in terms of the market strategy, um, um, as Diane said, we've identified a huge problem, we've validated it, we have proof of concept, and in order to continue to grow, we continually iterate on our marketing strategy, and some of these strategies that will overlap with whether we're selling business to business or direct to consumer. Although growing both models is important to us, we are accelerating even more in our B2B, as that's our niche market within the medical hair loss space, a space that we're disrupting and innovating and growing in. And that's important because, once again, Black women have been overlooked in this space where you can use your health insurance, have a private, dignified experience, and all the things that others enjoy, that simply because of the texture of our hair. And we can go down a whole, conversation about how our hair is perceived in the world of beauty and all of that. They're not being serviced. But some of the things in terms of our marketing, we'll be establishing educational partnerships with hospitals and social workers and patient navigators and oncologists and all of the people in these spaces who provide resources to patients beginning their cancer treatment. And these are important relationships because they're on the front lines working directly with the patients that we're seeking to reach. And, will be and are and have been great advocates for us. We'll also grow our brand presence at cultural touch points where our target customers authentically gather, including like Black churches, HBCU alumni gatherings, the Divine Nine sorority events, which we've started to do some of those already, natural hair expos, community wellness events. We're in talks now with Boston Medical here in Boston, where we are, for a pilot buy one, give one model where for each wig purchased, one is donated. And so we'll have co-branded events with them and work with the oncology departments there, doing activations. And the plan is to use them. They will be the blueprint for this program. And then we'll replicate that over the thousands of US hospitals across the country. Um, and then, we'll be acquiring partnerships with healthcare systems and the major healthcare insurance providers. How we've been growing now in this, proof of concept stage is one hospital at a time, but now we're tapping into health systems and health networks. And I think Diane mentioned, getting contracts, having our women-owned and minority-owned certifications. We're starting to navigate the government contract space, looking at places like the VA and that sort of thing. So moving on to our traction and financial overview. And I want to say, as far as our traction and financial overview, I want to say that this pre-Series A stage, and given the competitive nature of the wig space and the fact that this recording and everything will live online in perpetuity, we're presenting the metrics most relevant for evaluating our investment opportunity. We can certainly take a deeper dive in one-on-one meetings and regarding our financials with interested investors, anyone who wants to have a conversation. We normally, when we go deeper in our financials, have an NDA signed and that sort of thing. But we're certainly open to having conversations if people need to know more. But in terms of our traction and financial overview, as we've said, we have bootstrapped our way to 27 hospitals across the country. We initially only sold wholesale, but since the launch of our e-commerce online store a couple of years ago, with little to no ad spend, we have a CLV that averages $2,100. And our refund rate is well below average at 12%. And that's important because the average for most brands is a little over 18%. And going as high as 30%. So maintaining, our refunds at 12% is huge. It really is huge in terms of our margins. And speaking of margins, we have an excellent 80% profit margin right now. And, that's due to many things, but certainly due to managing our expenses well. And then the interest from other countries and positive testimonials, major press we receive, it says a lot about the traction and the impact that we're making. U.S. hospital and boutique partners. This slide showcases some of the major hospitals that we're in across the country, like Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, Emory Health in Atlanta, UCSF Health in San Francisco, and on and on. And it's our goal to double those partnerships by year end with substantial capital. We feel, that's doable. The competition. And yes, Diane talked about it. There are other wig distributors that sell in medical hair loss spaces, but the major US medical wig distributors have failed to recognize that 40%, and that's like 9.6 million Black women, no longer straighten their hair, and that 33%, 7.9 million Black women choose to alternate how they wear their hair, whether it's straight or unstraightened. Nearly 50% of Black women are faced with hair loss. Diane talked some about that. They've also failed our competition to recognize that 60% of Black women wear wigs, weaves, or extensions. Diane mentioned that we're driving the market. According to Nielsen, Black women outspend other demographics by nearly 86% in the wig and weave market. And because these major distributors have been lulled into believing that marketing to Black women with hair loss is a niche market too small to pay attention to, they are missing the data that is readily available through sources like Mintel and Nielsen that we've pulled data from. So,
And women
uh,
that we've spoken to.
and women that we've spoken to, the vendors, so many sources. The competition, um, their neglect of this target market has allowed us to grow into 27 hospitals, and we're looking forward to Coils to Locs being the go-to leader for women with textured hair as we grow our partnerships across the country and beyond to the tens of thousands of cancer hospitals, medical hair loss salons, other resource organizations, first domestically and then internationally, because unfortunately, when you talk about hair loss, within Black women, it spans globally. And then local and national recognition, I lightly touched on major press received earlier, but we truly, we're grateful. We are truly grateful that Coils to Locs has been highlighted in some major local and national TV and news publications like Forbes, like People, being on the Today Show. And we had the magical experience with being on the Jennifer Hudson Show. We did not get to dance down the hallway, unfortunately. As a matter of fact, I think she started that after we were on, but also that's pretty much delegated to celebrities. And, we'll get to dance down the hallway one day, I think. But in a nutshell, it really shows that that people, all the press that we've gotten, that people resonate with us and our impact-driven mission, and we're just grateful for that. As far as the team, both myself and my co-founder and sister, Diane, are totally involved in the Black hair culture as bloggers and influencers. We were blogging about natural hair long before the birth of Coils to Locs, before we knew it was going to be a thing. Between our hair culture background, entrepreneurial experience, my having worked for nonprofit and for-profit organizations focused on cancer resources, and Diane's understanding of the healthcare space, having worked in the industry for over 20 years, we knew that we were well suited to both provide a product that women would love to wear and to be able to get that product into medical spaces across the US like we're doing. We also have some superb consultants and contractors that round out our support team. Dana is one of them, including some wonderful advisors that we work with. And you'll be able to learn more about them when you do your due diligence on our WeFunder page. So we are raising $250,000. How we'll use your investment, about 35% of the money will secure new wig styles, increase stock for high demand products. We want our lace fronts and all the different things, and maintaining healthy inventory levels. we'll execute a really robust execution that we want to do of digital and influencer marketing campaigns to enhance our social media engagement and fund some more PR efforts. Although, again, we have been blessed with people finding us and wanting us to tell our story. We'll increase our presence in hospitals, some of the ways I mentioned earlier, expand our partnerships with medical institutions, and just build a stronger sales infrastructure. In terms of tech, we're looking to add things like augmented reality to our website so that women can try on wigs virtually. I mean, can you imagine being able to do that, especially if you're losing your hair and feeling vulnerable and not having to leave your house and you can try on a wig virtually. So we're excited about that and some other technology advancements. And then just hiring some key personnel to enhance logistics and establish our programming and stuff. So next I want to talk about our exit strategy, because I know that's always a question. Our exit strategy goal is to eventually be acquired. And as you probably know, the only way investors get a return on their investment is when a company goes public or gets acquired. And we know that there's an we know and understand that there's a school of thought around holding on to our Black-owned businesses, but the data shows that we own only 2.7% of employer-owned businesses and 12.7% of sole proprietorships. And this is based on information in a 2021 document from the Brookings Institute. The numbers are growing since this study, but are still relatively low. And I know I'm stating the obvious, but the fact is that as an ethnic group, we're just so far behind whites and other groups in terms of business and family wealth, with the median wealth of Black families just under $45,000. It almost seems like hard to use the word wealth in that sentence, versus $285,000 for white families. That's a huge, huge gap. Black businesses find themselves in the perpetual cycle of not being able to scale and reach our target markets due to lack of capital. And I think that this data is just an important reminder that ownership and capital can help to grow wealth and close the wealth gap, not just for the business owner, but for the people that they employ, the companies that they do business with, and for their investors. This next slide shows some examples of Black businesses that have done this successfully. Mael Organics and these others listed, they were able to negotiate during their mergers and acquisitions, staying active as CEOs or on the boards of the companies that were acquired to ensure that the original brand mission isn't lost. Because that's something that's really important to us. They were then able to use the money earned through the acquisitions to create opportunities for our community. And you can see some of those opportunities listed here. And Coils to Locs has similar goals to support our community. Black businesses and the communities that we support are not losing through acquisitions, but winning. So again, that's a goal of ours. We are getting what we deserve when we do this, which is the same access to wealth creation that others have enjoyed for decades. So being acquired is a way of doing business that has existed for years and that white founders take advantage of. And just to sort of drive it home, white founders are celebrated when acquired for making a smart business move. And we need to start viewing Black founders through the same positive lens when we make those same moves. Black founders are much more likely to reinvest in their communities when they have the financial power to do so. We are the ones we've been waiting for, I like to say. So you have heard a mouthful about our Coils to Locs investment opportunity. We're raising $250,000. Our first hurdle is to get to $50,000 in order to keep any of the funds. every dollar counts. So, whether you invest a minimum of $100 or more, we're here for it and appreciate it. Every share of our refunder campaign helps as well when you share it with your networks. And you can contact us. Here's the information where you can contact us. Scan the QR code to get to the campaign page. But I know Tawana has been, I believe, putting the link in the chat. And thank you guys so much for being here tonight and letting us share our impact-driven business that we are so passionate about, Coils to Locs, with you. And now I guess we'll just open it up for Q&A.
Awesome. Wonderful job. Thank you, ladies, so very much. To
Thank
the community, now's the time to put your questions in the Q&A. I see some in there now. Y'all know I got a page full, so I'm gonna go first. But wonderful, wonderful presentation. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the cost of acquiring a hospital contract, right? Because I imagine a lot goes into that. And so, can you talk a little bit more about that? Not the process, obviously, right? But just kind of how much does it cost to acquire one hospital? You have 27, right? What would the cost be to double that?
So to double that, and I should preface this by saying that because Pamela and I, and now Dana, who joined our team as an experienced business development strategist, maybe he'll be able to tell the group a little bit more about his work. We were like hands-on, boots on the ground. So when I think about what the cost of that to acquire, one hospital, when you think about our time, like it's really time, calling, emailing, scheduling meetings for those who are willing to meet with us, getting other, influencing other people who might be within that organization to meet with us. I'm going to say, since it might take about 6 months or so, it probably, I don't know, $3,000, $4,000 to make that acquisition. I love the question because I think it's something that, I'll be transparent. I don't think that we've ever broken it down in that way because we're so hands-on. It's just like,
Right.
you
You're
know,
just doing
Yeah.
the work, right?
And like you said, it's the hours, it's if we had an employee and we're paying an employee to do all the things that we're doing and wear all the hats that we're wearing, that's about the number.
I think the biggest key is like the time, 6 months to
Yeah.
acquire, potentially, right? To vet and acquire one location. Is that just a standalone hospital or is that the hospital system?
that's
That could be both. I'm sorry, go ahead, Diane.
no, go ahead, Pamela.
Yeah, no, I was going to
It's
say
the
that it could
same.
be both, and it varies. There have been times where somebody has reached out to us because, say, they just saw us on the Today Show, and they're just like, "We're ready to buy," and
Yeah.
it happens in less than a week. The whole process happens in less than a week, and we've onboarded a number of hospitals that way. But and let me preface this by saying, because I almost hesitate to use the word spoiled, but initially, because we got some initial major press right out the gate, people were coming at us, So the first three hospitals, Diane personally worked hard for. Those were our pilot hospitals. I would say the next 10 hospitals came knocking on our door. And then the rest is where we find that like it might have taken a week and it might have taken 6 months. But I think if we're being realistic, as we move forward and are doing more cold outreach, the numbers that Diane presents are more realistic that we're finding in this last year or two.
Yeah, and I do want to add um, what a difference having adequate capital will make because we can definitely draw a connect the dot line to when we are featured in the media,
Mm.
in some way, shape, or form, people come knocking, the hospitals, the organizations, customers, because we haven't been able to, hire a PR person, that type of thing. Like we see a direct correlation,
Yeah. Hmm.
the
Absolutely.
how quickly things happen, particularly on the hospital side, when we have sufficient PR. We fortunately got a lot of that PR that you saw that Pamela talked about for free because somebody believed in us and they were willing to give us pro bono PR services for 1 year. And it was
Wow.
primarily based on that we were able to get a lot of that, the Today Show, and we were a component of Good Morning America, and like some of those things that I don't know
Yeah.
what it would take for us to get that.
And
Mhm.
when you have somebody fighting for you like that, and it has to be consistent. And when it was consistent for a year, that's when we saw the growth. And the minute we couldn't, didn't have the
Do
money
that
to put
anymore.
behind it, because of anybody who knows PR on any level, especially if you're getting it as services, I mean, that's like 10 grand or more a month. 10
Right.
grand is like
Right.
lowballing.
That's low. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but like Diane said, you see the difference. So we know when we have the financial resources to put ourselves out there and put ourselves in places and spaces, PR person or no, but having that money to show up at key places and conferences and things like that, tabling, which costs money, all that kind of stuff. Raises brand awareness, but you have to do it consistently in order to see the consistent flow back your way, in terms of onboarding hospitals and growing your customer base, whether it's D2C or B2B.
Mm-hmm. No, very, very good. I also want, one of the things that we do around here is we pride ourselves on making some connections. And one of the things you talked about was wanting to be introduced with some of the brands that are out there doing really creative things from an organic standpoint, right? So you've got hair being made by Black founders that are made out of banana fibers and corn husk, and beets is one of the coolest ones I've seen. And so we actually have a founder in our network. There's a couple of companies I know. There's one called Rebundle.
Hmm.
There's one called Lillian Augusta. She's the one who presented with us. So I can actually make that connection and introduction with you guys and Janice. There's another company called, I think they're called Nori Hair, which is another one I've heard about. So there are a lot of cool things being done now that, I think there's some room for some possible partnerships. I think they would probably love to expand their business by getting into the medical hair space, right? And
Hmm.
then being able to have you guys have a product that I think where the industry for hair and Black women are we're exploring more with some of those organic brands because we just tired of digging our scalp out. Uh, so, right. So, I would love to make at least the introduction with Janice Newsom, who is the CEO of Lillian Augusta Beauty. I've
Right.
used her braiding hair myself, and it is divine, absolutely divine. So I can stand behind that one. I did not scratch at all, and I am somebody who typically can only wear a style for about a good week before I'm ready to take it out.
Wow.
As my scalp is just so sensitive.
Mhm.
It was lightweight. It was did not it like I said didn't itch, and it was absolutely. And the person who braided my hair raved about it. Like she couldn't stop the whole time she braided, the whole like 4 hours she braided my hair. She could not stop talking about how soft it was, how easy it was to manage, how it wasn't a
Nice.
lot of loss when she was, kind of pulling the hair out to get the like she raved about it to the point I was like, okay, we get it. It's great. Like stop talking like but that was so
That's
cool.
great.
It really, really was. And so as you were
You
talking,
need
I
you
was
need to
imagining,
get that testimonial back to
right,
the brand
right,
owner so
right,
she can
right.
use her.
Yeah. But as you were talking, I was thinking, oh, imagine wigs made out of that, right? It meets the standard of still synthetic, so your hospitals will be pleased, right? But it's also now organic, so the customer will be equally as pleased. So definitely we'll make those connections.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that's a lane that we've been going down as well as we look for, more manufacturers in that space. So that's right up our alley.
Perfect. Very, very good. All right, let's see what the people are saying out in these streets.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
Jamel said, do you accept investment capital outside of the WeFunder platform? Jamel says, I work with a few CPG funds and Coils to Locs might be a good fit for. And how does he contact your team? So Jamel, you see the QR code. We kept that on the screen. You also have the link that has been in the uh, chat throughout the evening. And so that's how you can get a hold of the lady.
Our email is right there,
Email's right there.
cofounders@coastalots.com. But yeah, absolutely. We are
Okay.
open to having conversations up off of the who people who want to invest off of the
Right.
WeFunder platform.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. And I will say, I want everybody to take a screenshot of the contact page if you want to, because I want us to be bigger on the screen, because that just really works better when we're trying to pull highlight reels out. So everybody take a second to take your photo of the screen if you want that.
And follow us on social media, please.
Nice. And Diane, I'm going to ask you to stop sharing so that we
Okay.
can be bigger.
Okay.
Go through the rest of the questions.
There we go.
Very good. Jesse says you could open a location at Houston Medical Space Company from last week's pitch. Oh, okay. Jesse, oh, that's a good idea. Okay. So last week,
Honeycomb.
Honeycomb Clinic.
Honeycomb.
Yes, yes. I love that idea, Jesse. That's another
Yeah.
good connection.
Yeah, I was looking at that, I was listening to the recording and stuff, and I was sharing it with Diane. I was just like, oh, this is a nice act to follow, because there's some synergy there. Yeah.
Yes. I will make an introduction with you and Letitia as well. Hey, Jesse, look at you. Jesse also said, any possibilities for self-manufacturing with other fibers other than the Japanese product?
That's something that we have been looking into even before this controversy. And one of the things that we had hoped should do, which we're going to have to find a different pathway, is to get some funds for research and development to explore that possibility with the SBIR, which I'm not remembering what it's an acronym for, but it's a federal government agency. I'm sure I don't need to say anything else. So, so we have to find other avenues. Um,
Right.
but yes, that's absolutely something that is on
Mm,
our radar, part of our business plan.
yeah.
Very good. Anonymous says, what are the reasons for the funds? What are the reasons?
Refunds.
Anonymous, do you mean refunds or do you mean what they're going to use the funds for?
I think it's refunds.
Okay, so what are the majority of reasons for your refunds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
I'll preface by saying it's definitely hard to buy a wig online, I think. And one of the things that we want to do with funding is to get augmented reality to sort of help with that process of, virtually trying wigs on. The major reason we've gotten is that people feel like it's too much hair, and we think it's, if you have hair that is less dense or thin, it can be sort of a bit of a shock to
Fuck.
a wig that has like a lot of hair, even though, the wig resonates with the person. But that's like the number one um, refund reason. And then I think what comes a close second is our wigs they fit average size heads, and so basically 92%, according to the data, of people have average size heads. But if you have like a head that's smaller or larger, our wig might not fit. So we encourage people to measure the circumference and that good stuff before buying the wig. If anyone's like me, they probably don't, but I'm just saying. And so that's the other piece. But because we haven't had the capital to purchase different sizes, we've had to default to the average size, which is
Mhm.
the majority
But we
of
do have what comes with our wigs, and our wigs don't have combs within them. They have a silicone grip that's more conducive for people with hair loss or no hair. But what is included are wig bands that can help make the wig more secure for a smaller head, but obviously it's not going to expand for a larger head. But I think I just want to throw in there again, one of the reasons why our refund rate at 12% is so low when the average is 18 or more, is because we do a lot of things to help mitigate that. We have videos and information to help guide people before they make their purchase, on what to look for, tips for buying a wig online, all that kind of stuff. And so it does keep that refund rate low, but for all of the reasons Diane said are usually
Mhm.
why people might return.
And I do want to be transparent. You're always going to have those customers who are like, oh, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess I felt the need to add that because
I've been one of those customers. You get it and you're like, no, I changed my
Yeah,
mind or whatever the reason is. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
And it could still be very emotional too, right?
Mm,
Make that decision and choose what your new look is going to be. I would imagine that's a big part, maybe trying to find a hair solution too soon before you've kind of worked through some of the emotional stuff that has to be going on.
that's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
very good. So our one of the co-founders of 10K Project, Talisha Shine, if you guys have been around, you know who Talisha is. She's behind the other screen that says the 10K Project right there. And so she sent me a text that she wanted to help you guys. This is a topic that's near and dear to her heart. And so I'm going to be connecting you as well. She's already not paying attention to this because she's looking for AI solutions to help you with the
Oh,
augmentation stuff
that warms
and
my
to
heart.
help you
Oh,
with the
thank you.
hospital acquisition. She says she thinks there's an app that can help you. Like she's already behind the scenes texting me saying, "Oh, I think I can do this and I think I can do that."
Oh,
So
look, it don't take much for me to cry. I'm getting ready to cry.
It
Look,
is
I am going to
beautiful.
that
connect you
just, yeah,
ladies. Um,
I
so,
love that.
not only can we potentially help you with investment, this community, they come through, right? I'm thinking about people, I'm thinking I work for a hospital system, this company I work for, right? And I'm thinking about who can I call? Like who can I call to see if we can get these ladies in front of them? And as a community, for those who are considering investing or who may not have money to invest, I want you to also think about that, right? How can you help? Do you know someone who works in administration at a hospital, who knows someone who these ladies can talk to, right? Have you come across a brand that's doing something unique in this hair space, right? I named 3, but there's probably 30 more, right? And so there are other ways we can offer our assistance. As the ladies have stated, they've been doing this for several years. They've bootstrapped it, right? Which I think is wonderful that they are still standing, first of all, having, had limited resources. But I think now is the time to really push this forward and help them get to the next level of success. And that can be accomplished in a lot of different ways. So
Absolutely.
keep the ideas coming with the suggestions and the
Yes,
recommended
thank you.
connections, because we never know which one of those connections is going to make the difference, right? Sometimes it's, 6 degrees of separation is a real thing, right? You know somebody that I didn't know, but you know them, and now I know them, and now we're rich, right? So,
That's right.
right.
That's right.
So we want to definitely keep that coming. If you think of anything later, guys, please, please, please let me know or reach out to the ladies and let them know.
Thank you
But
so
I will
much.
make that connection as well as the others.
Thank you.
Um, Lorana says, I want to introduce an opportunity. Okay. You want to share now, Lorana, or you want to go ahead and email the ladies? Oh, okay. You want me to bring you on so you can talk? that another yes? You want to come on live so you can talk? You don't have to see. You can just talk if you want to. All right, let's do it. Oh, Talisha, you're the host, so I think you have to do it. There we go. Hello, Lorana. Am I pronouncing your name
Yes,
correctly,
you
dear?
are. Yes, you are. And it's good to see you again. I know I haven't been here for a while, but when I saw this topic, I know it is very relevant in terms of what I am doing, what I have done, and what I would like to do. So let me just give you a quick background. I'm in sales and marketing. I'm a business consultant, and in 1991 through 94, I held the nation's first conference for natural hair care. It was produced by the International Braiders Network, and it introduced Carol's daughter. By the way, Carol's daughter was introduced at that, and a few other brands that we came to know to be very popular for Black hair care. Right now, I'm working with a company called Beauty in the City, and it's my daughter's brand, and it's an all natural vegan brand. So that's one area where one space in which I'm working. But the opportunity that I would like to introduce this evening is for an organization that I'm affiliated with. I'm an affiliate of, called SAMB, SAMB, and it stands for Sales and Marketing for Beauty, SAMB. I'm going to put the website in the chat. I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but they are having a conference, and I would like to invite, Pamela and Diane to participate in the conference. They're having a conference because the conference is for the industry, and this may give you an opportunity to get the exposure necessary to, kind of get investors or including customers on, you never know where it will go. It may be the purpose of sales and marketing for beauty is to get more recognition in the beauty industry for our people, as well as anyone who's in the space, like the indie beauty people who are looking to market their products. And we know that retail is very restricting, so we want to give alternatives to that aspect of marketing, but still giving the exposure, the sales opportunities, the investment opportunities, and so have it. So I'm going to put the yeah, I see someone. No, no, no. It's SAMB. I'm gonna do it like this. It goes www dot. Okay, let me put it in this thing. SAMBFORBEAUTY. That's one. And then the other one is Beauty, Sam for Beauty. That's it. www. I don't know why it didn't come out with the H. Yeah, that's it. samforbeauty.com. Somebody found it. Yeah, that's it. And then the other one is Beauty in, like Nancy, in the City. And that's a whole line of vegan skincare and cosmetics. And what we focus on it more so than beauty, because it's a natural look, giving one a natural look. And I see Tawana, that I love your makeup because it looks so natural. It doesn't look like you are another person. You look like who you're supposed to be, but you look great, so this is what Beauty in the City is all about. And that's another line. And I've been in the beauty space for a long time. That's just one of the areas where I work. So I would love to work with Pamela and Diane just to see what can be offered. No, it's not that I'm looking to take on new clients, but I'm looking to point you in some directions that may lead to opportunities, and I believe they will. Thank you. Thank you for that time.
No, Lorana, thank you. And did you get their contact information? Or do you want me to send something
I would
over?
love for you to send it, because I am looking at the chat, and I have to scroll down. I have to scroll
Okay.
through it. So
Let me get,
Yeah.
do you mind putting your email in the chat so we can all capture it? And even if you just do it to host and panelists, if you don't want everybody to see it, that's okay too.
I'm open. So my personal website is eprofitmarketing.com, but I'll put my email in business@eprofitmarketing.com because I'm a marketing consultant. Okay.
Perfect.
And
So
that's
we will
reminding me,
capture.
I do want to check in, Dana, do you want to come off of mute? I don't know if there's anything you want to add or um, did we lose him? Because I don't think he's hearing us.
Yeah.
Those who may have come
One
in late.
second, I'm just typing it in.
Okay. Thank you, Lorana.
Thank
I just want to say now, Pamela, you said don't make you cry. Now I'm getting a little teary-eyed over here, right? And I'm trying to hold it together.
I know.
I'm not supposed to be getting emotional, but this community, they never cease to amaze me. And every time I get just a little weary,
Mm.
something like this happens.
Yeah, just sent it. All right. So, and it's open for anyone, but I'd love to have a conversation with Pamela and Diane. We'll take it from there. We'll see.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank
You're
you
so
so
welcome.
much. Yeah, I see
Glad to be
somebody
a
else in
part
the
of this. In
chat.
fact, we are actually doing groundbreaking work. Why? Because as a result of the work that I did way back in 91, because this is post Jerry curl. I'm from the era of the fro, the afro. So post Jerry curl, as a result of the work we had, who started it? Phyllis Stickney at that time. She was
Oh,
one of the
wow.
stars. We had Erica Alexander. She was one of the people, one of the years that we did it. And these are people who were wearing their natural hair in the media. And that was revolutionizing what was happening because we were always being I guess I'll say bashed, I'll use for lack of a better word, for showing up as who we were born to be. We're showing up. We are Black women, beautiful sisters. Our hair is beautiful. This is a God's heavenly creation. And when we show up with our hair, we get penalized for it. And these are the bold sisters who did this at that conference. And as a result, all around the country, if not the world, more and more people, the young people, are coming out with natural, beautiful hair, all kind of twists, styles. We had the first person that featured Sister Locs. She came from California, came to New York to our conference. It was right there at the Roosevelt Hotel in New York, 3 years in a row. So, that was
Wow.
big, 1991 through 94. So I see the work that you're doing. I know, I feel it. So, I'm there. I'm there with you.
Thank you. Oh
Thank
my
you
God.
so very much, sis. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it. This community, like you said, is
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. We got to pull it together. Sylvia, hold on. I'm going to let you talk. But Sylvia, I know you get chatty. We talked earlier today. So I'm going to put you on hold just one moment, Sylvia. I want to answer Chandra's email. Chandra said, have you worked with Dr. Monique, Dr. Mo, Gary from Still Rise Farms?
No,
No, not familiar.
doesn't sound
Chandra,
familiar.
do you want to tell us who Dr. Mo is? Because I've not heard of her either.
And while we're waiting for that, Dana, he texted me, he's having trouble. He can't seem to log in. He has a note taker, so he's wondering if that's part of what's happening.
Oh, is Dana, are you using, well, see, because we see him in here.
You see him, and he was saying,
Yeah.
he knows we see
It
him.
doesn't say note taker, but he's saying it's his
Yeah.
note taker. Okay.
It's not, he's wondering if that's what it is, because he can't seem to respond every time I say, Dana, do you have some-" He's like, I'm
Oh,
trying to
goodness.
respond, but he can't. So I don't know.
All right. Maybe in the chat.
Yeah, Dana, can you comment in the chat? Will it let you at least do that?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Wow.
all right, Sylvia. I'm gonna open it up for you. Go ahead and unmute, sis, and make your statement. But you get chatty.
I get chatty for the right reasons.
There you go.
Tell it, tell it.
Go ahead,
Yes,
my
hi,
dear. What
good
you got?
evening. Well, me and her, we know we go, we're not new to this, we true to this. So Tawana and I, we go there. So we family now. So thank you so much, Tawana. Uh yeah, so this is awesome. Yes, I spoke to Tawana earlier today about something else, but I said I was to join, but I'm so to join in and discover about this as far as many reasons as well. Tawana, I don't know if if you know that I'm also a nurse clinician. So obviously, anything medical related, nursing related, healthcare related, and including hair is also dear to my heart as well. And I also like to connect with the ladies. I want to put my email in the chat, and I would like to connect. Where are you located, the ladies? Are you located somewhere near New York? Because I'm in New York.
We're in Boston, so
Boston.
gonna jump.
Okay, great. Let's connect because I'm also wanted to speak to you about not only in the medical community, which I'm heavily involved with because of I've been a nurse for the past 20 years, but I transitioned from nurse clinician to nurse administration, and I'm also doing nursing contracting. I do nursing HEDIS, quality improvement. So I'm in the nursing informatics. I'm on the healthcare IT world, but a nurse is always a nurse. So I would definitely like to connect with you. And also with my nonprofit, I have an award-winning nonprofit organization, Positive Women United, that we're also um, connecting with healthcare professionals like myself. And this would be a good, we hope, collaboration partnership because we are heavily involved um, with women of all ages, cultures, races, ethnicities. And this would really bring a greater reach as well with um, our followers, supporters, and our demographics that uh, the outreach that we have with Positive Warrior United. So I look forward to definitely look forward to connecting. So there you go, Tawana. Something
Thank
that
you,
you
my
didn't know.
dear.
Something else you didn't know.
I love it and I love you. Thank you so very
Love
much.
you too. Love you too. Listen, keep up the great work. Listen, this is not only emotional for us as Black women, as professionals, and we all wear many hats. So this is just full circle for us. Remember, I was telling you that earlier today. So
Yeah.
this is always full circle. So thank you, Tawana, for always being the liaison and bridging the gap.
Thank you, my dear. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Of course.
Right. Chandra told us who Dr. Mo was. She says Dr. Mo is a Black breast surgeon in Pennsylvania with a very good social media presence. She has a farm near Philly where she holds wellness events, etc. She was very helpful to me when I was diagnosed last year.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna definitely check her out.
Right.
Familiar.
Whew.
Wow.
Okay.
I know. I feel that exhale. I need to do it too.
Um, oh, Jamel said email sent and said thank you. Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Jesse said KBLA AM equals Tavis Smiley radio station, syndicated nationally, features Black entrepreneurs, and we know LA is full of celebrities. They could jump in. So it looks like the website is kbla1580.com. Jesse said, download the app to evaluate potential for your project. So there must be something on the app where you could connect with them to potentially make it onto the radio segment.
Thank you so much.
Great, we're gonna check that out.
Thank you so much for that, Jesse. Okay. I know, hold it together here. I did not expect.
I
Huh.
know. Yeah,
Whew, okay.
yeah.
We appreciate the
Two
sharing,
of us are gathered.
and
Go
support.
bring us, you know.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Oh, goodness. All right, what we have? We got some more emails. Oh, Chandra put the Still Rise Farms website in the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
give you time to capture that. And then Sylvia put her information as well.
Make sure I don't miss any of this.
Okay, just took a screenshot of all of that.
And you ladies, I will send this all over to you this evening as well.
Oh, great. Thank you. And then we have the recording. I always forget that too.
Good, good, good.
Awesome.
Hey, any more questions? Look at my list, make sure I didn't have any more comments or questions.
While you're looking, I do want to say we appreciate this opportunity to speak to the community. And as you touched on, Tawana, um, you know, yes, we're looking to raise funds, but sharing your networks and your resources is equally as important and has helped us. Like we know just from experience, it's helped us to, take the next step forward. So your willingness to share um, is so appreciative we're so appreciative of that.
We work hard, but it takes a village, as we know. We wouldn't be still standing, like you said, if we didn't have that support of the village as well. So
Yeah.
we really, really appreciate it, and we appreciate you all going past past the hour.
We don't even, but time, what somebody told me the other day, time is a construct, is it? It is tonight.
I say that too, actually, but is it?
No, this has been a great segment. It really, really is. It definitely reminds me of what community means, right? Yes, we are an investor community, but we are a community first. And so I think I needed that as much as you guys needed these references. I think I needed to feel what
Mhm.
this really is and be reminded of it. To the community, thank you guys for always showing up and showing out. Obviously the call to action is multiple pronged, right? So we want you to do your due diligence. We want you to invest. We want you to share the heck out of the campaign link. We want you to think about what you heard here tonight and see, who do you know? What connections can you make? And sometimes we don't even think about it, right? And we've got people that we know who could also assist. And so if you think about those things, let us know. And mm.
My goodness.
My God, my God. Um, just keep supporting. Founders need us, right? I got another email the other day of another founder that is closing the doors, right? They can't hold on any longer. And for everyone that can't hold on any longer, there are 500, right, that are still trying to. And so we got to continue to help. I know things are uncertain, right? We're trying to figure out what's going on in the country and the world, right? And trying to figure out how we can sustain, right? But we still need to think about our future, and investing is a good way to do that. And if you are able to, and in a financial position to invest, I ask for you to do your due diligence and consider this campaign, because we still need to build the wealth, right? That doesn't stop because there's some uncertainty. It doesn't stop because someone new is at the helm of government. We still have to think about our futures and the futures of our children and our grandchildren, right? The generational wealth mission that we all got on, right? 5, 6 years ago, for those of us who just really started using those terminologies and just started thinking about it, it doesn't stop because change exists. We have to stay the course. And we have to stay it responsibly, right? We have to be very smart and strategic about it, but we need to stay the course and not get discouraged. So with that, those are my final words for this evening. Ladies, I will turn it over to you. Pamela, I'll let you go first, and then Diane, I'll let you take us home. And Dana,
Yeah.
Dana, can you hear us? Can we hear you yet? You want to try to say something again?
He's been texting me that he just,
Just
That's,
can't. All right,
yeah.
Dana. Dana's shy tonight. Okay. Dana, that just means you got to come back and we got to meet you another time. That's all.
I know he is so not shy. But I
probably,
must really be having technical difficulties. Um, yeah, I mean, what can I add is piggyback on saying the only thing constant is change. We have to, like you said, think of the future, because this too shall pass. What's going on, this too shall pass. And we don't want to wake up and not find ourselves in a position that we could have started and, we could have moved the needle if we had started earlier. So, we just, like Tawana said, we appreciate all the ways that you can support sharing or whatever. It's not always money. Of course, we appreciate the investment, but there's other ways to invest in people, and we get that and know that and appreciate that. So I'll turn it over to Diane.
I think there's really not much more that I can add. Both you, Pamela, and Tawana touched on a lot of points. I think the one thing I do want to stress is something that you said, Tawana, and I'll paraphrase, but, despite what's happening now with this administration and, the state of affairs, life goes on, and, that's not going to change the goals that we have set as a community, the goals that we have set as Pamela and I as business owners. We have to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and continue to just, keep our eye on the prize, so to speak. So thank you, everyone. This was great. We appreciate you, Tawana, for creating a space to have these types of conversations. And I wish everyone a great rest of the evening.
Yeah,
Yes.
this was wonderful. And I'll add one more thing. I just want to add one more thing too, to piggyback off what you just said, Diane. The other thing that's not going to change is women are going to continue to be diagnosed with breast cancer.
Mhm.
And they're going to continue to get life-changing medical care that also has the side effect of hair loss. They're also going to be questioning their beauty, their worth, all of those things they're going to be questioning. And what you ladies are creating is a solution for that problem. And so when we talk about all the other things that are happening over here, the reality is that's not going to change, unfortunately. And so we want to give women their power back. We want to give them their confidence back. We want them to identify with who they are, right? And that's the solution you are solving for. That's not going to change. Wish it would, right? Right? Wish there was a cure and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But the reality is, it's not one yet. And this is going to happen every single day. I don't know the stats, but I would imagine thousands of women are diagnosed with breast cancer every single day. I would imagine.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like you said, and then you add on all of the other things, other ways we mentioned that women are losing their hair, whether it's medications, whether it's lupus, autoimmune diseases. It's there's a need.
There's
Um,
a need.
and we are filling that gap when it comes to textured hair.
That's it. That's it. I just wanted to bring it right back around to why we are here, why this business matters, right? And I don't want us to forget the face of the women that this solution is helping, right? It's women that look like all of us, looks like your mothers, your aunties, your nieces, your daughters. It looks like the people who birthed you as a race. And for this one, we need to show up and show out.
Oh my God. Okay, you did it. You did it, Destiny. Thank
All
you.
right, ladies. I think we can all go cry somewhere.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Thank
Tawana.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Peace and blessings, guys. Peace and blessings.
Blessings.
Bye.